everyone. Very warm welcome to this session. It's very nice to connect with all the users at Groww. I'm here to just very quickly talk to you a little bit about IIFL Asset Management, tell you a little bit about our funds, and describe to you how we invest, and would obviously love to have you as unit holders at some point in time. So let me just very quickly describe IIFL Asset Management Company to you. IIFL Asset Management is a 5-year-old asset management company in terms of the products that we've launched. It's already one of the largest alternate asset managers. Alternate ka matlab ye hai ki besides listed equities, we also do private equity as well as structured debt, fixed income investing. It's a very unique combination. It's not usual, but what it does is it makes us quite differentiated from regular mutual funds who tend to do only listed equity and debt. We do a lot more beyond that, even on the private space. So IIFL Asset Management is a very unique proposition, one of the fastest growing asset management companies today. We have about 25,000 crores of assets under management. And one key area for us, of course, right now is on the listed side, where we are managing today just one mutual fund. We're very focused in terms of our products. We don't launch multiple funds, and all our energies are focused on that particular product at the moment. So let me tell you a little bit about the IIFL Focused Equity Fund, as well as just our general thoughts in terms of how we manage money, as well as our outlook. So the way we have an investment framework. Every fund house should normally have a framework in terms of how they select companies and how they invest. So we have a framework as well. It's called the SCDV framework. And through that, I'll explain to you also our views on certain sectors and where we think value can be created over time. So I will just very quickly share my screen. So what you see on the screen in front of you is our investment framework. And अगर आप देखेंगे यहाँ पे दो एक्सेस हैं. There's the return on equity on the lower side and profit after tax growth on the left hand side. And just to explain to you ये चीज क्या होता है, return on equity is what we do is we've essentially, when you look at any company in India, any company is run to generate a return on the capital that you put into the business. So if you're a businessman running a business, the value of your business or how good it is defined by how much profits you can create on the capital that you put in your business. And that is the return on equity. And profit growth, of course, aapko pata hoga, profit is essentially as the earnings of the company grows. So what we observed कि India में अगर आप सारे businesses देखेंगे, तो long term over the last 30-35 years, the average economics of running a company in India is to generate about a 15% return on equity or return on the capital and 15% profit growth. तो ये measure करके हमने सारे sectors को divide किया है based on their economics, and with a simple understanding कि जितना based on those economics they create value for shareholders. So just to very quickly explain this to you. So on the upper right hand side, you'll see one quadrant called secular. Secular are basically sectors that have over periods of time of the last 10 years generated higher than 15% return on equity and higher than 15% profit growth on average for the most part of those last 10 years. So secular businesses are therefore the ones that tend to generate shareholder value or price appreciation or market cap growth tends to be higher in secular type businesses where the growth is better and the economics are better. So that includes a lot of sectors like largely consumption sectors are taking autos, consumer discretionary, private banks, insurance, retail, etc. And they make up about 39% of the BSE 200 index today. So what we do in our portfolio is we say we want to be overweight, मतलब इस weight जो है उससे ज़्यादा रखना है हमारे portfolio में secular businesses के अंदर, so that हमको ये comfort आए कि there's a large part of our portfolio that has businesses that have been able to create consistent shareholder value. So we are always overweight on the secular bucket in our portfolio. The opposite extreme of that is called value traps on the left hand bottom side of the screen. So those are the BSE 200 companies, may it's a 23% share. And you'll see the value traps include sectors like PSU banks, oil and gas, telecom, utilities. ये काफी गवर्नमेंट कंट्रोल्ड सेक्टर्स होते हैं नॉर्मली वैल्यू ट्रैप्स के अंदर. एंड वैल्यू ट्रैप्स में ये प्रॉब्लम है कि कंसिस्टेंटली 15% ROE से ऊपर नहीं जनरेट कर पाते हैं और प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ भी उनका कम रहता है. तो ऐसे नहीं कि ये कभी परफॉर्म नहीं कर सकते हैं, बीच बीच में परफॉर्म करते हैं ये स्टॉक्स. लेकिन जितना आप how long you hold it, the longer you hold these stocks, the they don't tend to create as much value for you. So these are good to hold for short periods of time, but the longer you hold it, the worse it is. Then there are companies called defensives on the lower right hand side. These are companies that have high return on equity but low growth. And यहाँ पे consumer staples, healthcare, IT services, media आते हैं. And उसका opposite होते हैं cyclicals. Cyclicals are companies that are more economy linked. जब economy चलती है तब ये businesses अच्छे करते हैं. Cyclicals have lower return on equity, but they can go through high profit growth in good economic times. And आप देखेंगे cyclicals में सारे जो economy linked sectors हैं वो आते हैं. तो हम क्या करते हैं, हम ये कहते हैं अपने फ्रेमवर्क में कि हम सेक्युलर पे हमेशा ओवरवेट रहेंगे, मतलब BSE 200 के वेट से ज्यादा रहेगा अपने पोर्टफोलियो में. हम वैल्यू ट्रैप्स में हमेशा कम रहेंगे, जितना BSE 200 का वेट है उससे काफी कम रहेंगे वैल्यू ट्रैप्स अपने पोर्टफोलियो में. और सिक्लिकल्स और डिफेंसिव्स के बीच में हम एडजस्ट करते रहेंगे अपना वेट. वहां पे हम टैक्टिकल व्यू लेते हैं डिपेंडिंग ऑन द मैक्रो एनवायरनमेंट वेयरइन अपना इकोनॉमी अच्छा कर रहा है, खराब कर रहा है, वैल्यूएशंस कैसे दिख रहे हैं वगैरह वगैरह. तो इस तरीके से हम अपना पोर्टफोलियो बनाते हैं ताकि हमेशा अपने पोर्टफोलियो में मिक्स होता है जो सेक्टर्स और कंपनीज के जो वैल्यू कंसिस्टेंटली क्रिएट करते हैं, और जहाँ पे हमको थोड़ा अपॉर्चुनिटी लग रहा है सिक्लिकल्स और डिफेंसिव्स के बीच में, वहाँ पे हम एडजस्ट करते रहते हैं पोर्टफोलियो को. As a result of that, our funds have done quite well over the last 5 years, 3 years, 1 year. We have consistently outperformed the BSE 200 index, total return index, and it's amongst the top quartile or top decile funds in the market today. But the advantage we have is it's just one fund. Our full focus is on that fund, and the size of the fund is also quite manageable at the point. जब ज़्यादा बड़े हो जाते हैं funds, तो फिर उनको manage करने में मुश्किल होता है. So that is a very quick understanding of the framework. आज के दिन में अगर हम देखें sector wise, I think post COVID, in the COVID scenario, the one sector that has struggled a little bit is financial services. Financial services, आपको पता ही होगा कि it's 30% of the index today, so it's the most important sector. And we do believe long run में अगर ये sector नहीं चला तो अपना market को चलने में काफी मुश्किल होगा. So this is India's one of the key growing sectors eventually. But obviously COVID के कारण थोड़ा currently the phase is a little difficult for financial companies. तो financials हम normally overweight रहते हैं. अभी फिलहाल we are actually underweight, but the idea is over the next 6 months or so, we would like to go back to an overweight situation. Because eventually I think over the next 3 years, we're seeing this as a very good sector to get back into. In the short run though, it's the other sectors that are doing better. आज के दिन में healthcare is a decent weight in our portfolio. ये कोविड से पहले ही था अपना एक्चुअली वेट, और उसके बाद हमने वेट रखा हुआ है, लेकिन वो ग्रो हो चुका है क्योंकि स्टॉक्स काफी अच्छे कर चुके हैं. बट अभी भी हमें लगता है कि हेल्थ केयर में काफी वैल्यू है. सो फाइनेंशियल्स एट सम पॉइंट, हेल्थ केयर हैज गुड वैल्यू, आल्सो IT सर्विसेज. And on the cyclical side, we're looking at some private corporate banks now as potential investment opportunities. So that just gives you some broad sense of where we're more positive in this whole scheme of things. So that's a quick synopsis of IIFL asset management and the framework in which we manage. From an investment point of view, so I've been, just as a background, I've been investing for the last 25 years. Most of my time I spent with a company called DSP BlackRock. For 21 years I was there. And one thing I had observed was when you make investing, आज के दिन में of course investing looks like it's very easy and there are a lot of stocks moving in the market. But you must realize that it is a long-term game finally. And equities create a lot of value, particularly over fixed income for longer periods of time as you hold it. तो हमने ये एनालिसिस किया था कि what is the period of time, लोग बोलते हैं long term, but what is long term, is it 1 year, 5 year, 10 years, what is long term? So we actually went back over the last 30 years and analyzed the odds of making money. मतलब आपके कोई 100% सर्टेनिटी से तो बोल ही नहीं सकता है कि आपका इतना बनेगा मार्केट से, that nobody can ever guarantee anything. But what we've seen is that when you have 5-year holding periods and above, the probability of losing money comes down dramatically. And हम funds में भी देख चुके हैं. In my previous job as well, when I spent a long time, for the entire 20 odd years I was there, we didn't have a single fund that over a 5-year period created a negative return. And the average 5-year return from equities generally is in the 13 to 15% range. So what we say is the expectation you should come into equities with is a 5-year holding period, ideally when you're investing into mutual funds. With if the overall index return is 13 to 15% generally in line with profit growth, then fund should hopefully do a little bit better than that through their stock selection. So that is the sort of period of time that we find is a period where the odds start improving in your favor. In the short run, you may make money. A lot of that is a little bit of luck, a little bit of events in the short run. But I think over 5-year periods of time, I think the odds of consistently making money keep increasing. I'll just leave one last point just to keep in mind on valuations, because this is very important when you're investing in Indian markets particularly. हमने ये देखा है कि this is the valuation tool you should keep in mind, just the big picture. In India, we look at price to book ratios of the index, the price to book ratio. We don't look at PE multiple. एक कहलाता है P multiple, एक price to book है. PE looks at the price in relation to the profits, and price to book looks at the price or the market value of the company in relation to the net worth. And price to book is a very good indicator. जब भी अपना index level 2 time price to book के आसपास आता है, that time the risk reward is heavily in your favor. It's a great time to invest. The returns can be much higher than normal over the next 3-5 years. And whenever the market crosses 3.5 times price to book on the way up, that is a time to be a little more careful, because वहां से आपके जो future returns हैं वो कम होंगे. So 3.5 times price to book and above, you have to be careful. 2 times price to book and below is normally a low. Most of the time, 50% plus of the time, the market is between 2 and 3 times price to book. And today the market after this rally is still at about 2.7 times price to book. तो ये लेवल पे हमें ऐसे लगता है हमेशा कि there's no point taking a strong view कि market गिरने वाला है heavily या बढ़ने वाला है. Between 2 and 3 times price to book is most of the time where it spends, and the return expectations in that range should be 13 to 15% per annum, or annualized over a period of time, not per annum, but annualized over a period of time. So we are in that zone where one doesn't really have to take a very strong call one way or the other. I think one should just stay invested. And and we obviously have a certain framework in terms of what companies we like to invest in. So with that, I will just stop here. I wish you all good health in life as well as in investing in terms of your portfolio health, and look forward to interacting more with you in these type of sessions on the Groww platform. Thank you very much.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.